In an endless onslaught of Cathay videos, we got another Cathay video to go over today. And this one, we're just going to quickly go through the Terracotta Sentinel. And honestly, it's not even the focus of this video. The focus of this video is going to be off of the possibility and the speculation of the presence of more Tzeentchian cultists than, say, maybe Khorne or other forces of chaos. That's kind of the upfront breakdown of this video. There's just nothing but speculation in it today. We of course don't have any really cool gameplay or news to go into. I just wanted to quickly touch on this video because it's only 40 seconds long. I'm not going to do a 10-minute video of me talking about the Terracotta Sentinel, but there is an exciting little kind of tease / reveal at around the 15-second mark that we're going to discuss, and it kind of will just bring us into more again, speculation on some Tzeentchian cultists. So if that's all you wanted to know about what this video is going to be covering here today, that's all you need to know. If you're not interested in any speculation or talking about Tzeentchian cultists because you're a big fan of Khorne or you like to tweak your nipples like Slanesh, whatever it is, go ahead and shut the video down. But before you do, like I've said, guys, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe if you enjoy this format or you enjoy these videos, whatever it is. It does help any content creator out that you watch a ton. I had to think about my words there. So if you're gonna go head on out, let's go ahead here and take a look at this video before talking a little bit of speculation about Tzeentch and the possibility of more Tzeentchian mortal units in the Tzeentch roster. And as always, guys, if you have not yet pre-ordered Total War Warhammer 3, you can use the link in my description to the Nexus Store. This allows you to get a Steam key directly from the developer and is a great way to support the channel. Let's go ahead and watch this little showcase here. It's pretty sweet. And again, nothing crazy, nothing cool here. We've seen the Terracotta Sentinel in a lot of different ways. It is cool to get a sense of the animation of this unit, and it looks really sweet. I'm very excited for it. But let's wait here until this little section right here. Who are they? Who are they? Bitch slapped by my big giant Guandao. So we're gonna jump back, but I just want to finish this trailer. So a really cool little tidbit here of the Terracotta Sentinel. Not a whole ton to go off of. Of course, you know, the big thing that people have said is we want to see gameplay now, and I totally agree with you guys. But you know, I do like a good speculation. So here we are, a blurry image nonetheless, but here we have these. Clearly, you have the Tzeentchian robes, all presents on these guys. We have what looks like a sword and a staff of some sort. So a lot of things can be said here. Is this the Celestial Dragon Monk, but we're going to see it embodied actually for a Tzeentchian cultist rather than actually a part of the Cathayan roster? Is it the Celestial Dragon Monk, but as a corrupted unit? A lot of things like that can kind of kick around. But I think what we might start to see for Tzeentch is the presence of mortals in their army to kind of fill the gap of a lot of things. Tzeentch has a roster, a Chaos Demons roster that has a lot of chariots, has a lot of flyers, has your blue, purple, pink, no, I'm sorry, not blue, purple, and pink. It's blue and pink horrors. And you've got some other big centerpiece units, right? You've got your Herald, stuff like that. But you don't have stuff like a cavalry unit. And I know that we get that in Khorne, right? We get these Skull Crushers and we get the Skull Takers, I'm sorry, Blood Crushers and Skull Crushers. And we get all these really cool different units for Khorne, a lot of frontline Khorne mortal units. And I'm sure we're going to get that for Tzeentch, right? We'll probably see Tzeentchian warriors with this typical kind of getup, hopefully having like cool blue eyes or something like that. And we've also seen that we get Forsaken with Tzeentch, right? And they're even in this, right? We just saw them get stomped on. But I think what we'll see is such a lack of straight up cavalry of any kind of sort that we'll probably get maybe a Chaos Cultist unit on horses, or what actually happens in the lore is the presence of horse archers for Tzeentch. Cool Kurgans that act as, sounds like I said cool Kurgans. Kul, K-U-L, Kurgans that act as horse archers for Tzeentch. So this could be something that we would get as a skirmish style unit. We've already seen the horrors, right? The little screamers, the little like kind of manta ray looking things in the background of one of the pictures that look like they're not going to be flying cav, but they'll kind of be hovering ground cav. So or a hovering kind of skirmish cav unit. I would probably look at them more on the lines of Chaos Warhounds, which again, we'll probably get a Tzeentchian version of Chaos Warhounds. And we've seen Chaos Spawn. So I think the Chaos Cultists will fit little tiny niche portions of the Tzeentchian roster as they are kind of needed. But I'm very curious again to see how these guys work. They look like they're going to be a little bit more than just simply, hey, it's a Chaos Cultist. It might kind of play like a what's it called? A flagellant that gives Tzeentch this melee combatant that is anti-infantry, right? Because that way it's kind of going to give a little bit of a buzzsaw mechanic. It can eat through these peasant forces of Cathay, something to kind of give a little bit more of a anti-infantry presence in the roster. But there is one big thing I want to go into with this, and it's a big part of speculation that's not just relegated to Tzeentch, but to all the Chaos powers. So let's now pivot away from this, and we'll kind of take a look a little bit further one more time to kind of close this section out. But I mean, they're pretty cool looking, right? So I'm very curious as to what they are, but the other section is like, I think that this kind of opens the door to another portion of, is he holding this by the cross guard, by the quillins? That is absolutely terrible form. Terrible. Ugh. Someone call Shadowversary or any number of other historical YouTubers. This needs to be answered. But let me jump into another little bit of speculation I want to make about this that, again, I think is going to be relevant to some of the other Chaos gods. So with the advent of the Silence and the Fury DLC, we got corn-flavored Minotaurs, right? And this kind of opens the door to Beastmen being or having a presence in the Chaos Pantheon, right? Again, corn-flavored Minotaurs. And we know we get different types of gores for the Beastmen. Corn gores, pestigores, and slangores. And this kind of goes off of the crackpot age-old theory I've had that Games Workshop does want to imbue some of their existing model lines into their IPs, right, into their digital IPs. And one of the big presents of all four of these gores is the Zangor, the Tzeentch flavored gore, right? And we get beautiful models of these from Age of Sigmar, and I think we will start to see some Age of Sigmar models in Total War Warhammer 3. And I've been saying this for a long time, right? Ever since we saw the initial reveal and we saw the Greater Demons, it was pretty evident to me that Slaanesh will probably get the new updated Age of Sigmar Slaanesh line. And for those of you that hate Age of Sigmar, do not think of this as a bad thing. The Chaos Demon models and design mechanic or design aesthetic hasn't been updated for years, whereas the majority of 8th edition rosters got full updated models and everything like that. Not high elves, I'm not bitter about that at all, but it's important to note that this isn't Age of Sigmar Space Marines coming down. This is a really cool, nice breath of fresh air into some really dated and terrible looking models. Like if you look at the Slaanesh line, it doesn't look like Age of Sigmar. It just looks like, hey, if they were going to do Chaos Demons and bring them into 8th edition light, this is what they would probably look like. And they're beautiful. They are completely badass. Some people are a little bitter that there's less tits, but to me, it's less of a trope now and more of like, okay, these guys look like sleuthy and over the top and just really Slaaneshi. I really enjoy the new design mechanic, or I'm sorry, the design aesthetic. Messed that up twice now, of Age of Sigmar. But Zangors are a big thing that they've added in with Age of Sigmar Tzeentch and with 40k Tzeentch, so they are a big presence. And more importantly, they've been in the lore of Warhammer Fantasy since 6th edition, 7th edition, and 8th edition. They're a really solid unit that even if the other four weren't present, like, okay, Khorne never going to get Khorne gores, they're just going to get Khorne Minotaurs. And maybe Pestigores will never happen, but instead we'll get a different Nurgle Beastman unit. Same thing with Slangors, but maybe Zangors will come because they are so prevalent in the tabletop and in a lot of like the, hey, well, we just need kind of like a frontline, clearly Tzeentchian Chaos Demon unit. Well, Zangors kind of fit that, just in the same way that Bloodthirsters, the little ones, fit the role of being a frontline demon unit, right? And the thing is that we get that with Slaanesh already. We get Demonettes, and we get Nurglings and different versions of frontline units for Nurgle. So Tzeentch is the only one that doesn't really have a frontline presence. So I think Zangors would make a lot of sense to come into the monogod list for Tzeentch. Again, maybe just giving one unit of a different beastman per Chaos God for Total War Warhammer 3. So that's my little bit of speculation there. Again, I've got nothing to base this on. It's me kind of looking at like the lack of the roster reveal and the lack of gameplay on like the siege mechanics or whatnot. So we can't really go any further on what might be coming with Tzeentch, unfortunately. So this is me kind of saying, well, I do see these problems looking at the 8th edition army list, putting it into the Total War formula of like pretty much every single army needing to have some sort of answer to something. Like I've said before so many times, you could stand to have a roster of Tzeentchian demons in 8th edition fantasy because of the limiting factors of a 4x8 playboard, where when you're playing Total War, you don't have those limitations, and you do need other things that are going to be able to screen out skirmish cavalry, or you're going to need something that's going to be able to hold the front line, so on and so forth. So I think Tzaangors are a really good step here, and I think that this increase of mortals in Tzeentch makes a lot of sense from a lore perspective of Tzeentch. I'd argue that Tzeentch has the highest presence in Cathay of all 4 of the Chaos Pantheons, right? The Cult of Qianqi has a huge presence. You get the Cult of the Purple Hand, which is further east. Both of them are kind of not necessarily interchangeable, but like I've said before, Tzeentch has already had such a huge presence in the lore of Cathay that it makes sense that we might even get some corrupted Cathayan soldiers or something of the sort. And even looking at the lore too for cultists when it comes to Khorne, Slaanesh, and of Papa Nurgle, everyone's going to have a different approach, right? We've even talked about how Khorne cultists are not these groups of fanatics. It's more individual gladiators. These people are going from town to town fighting people, whereas Tzeentch does have these more but typical style of cultists, right? Like people in shrouded robes, divining some sort of Cthulhu-esque mysticism in a dark, shadowy corner, right? Like that's the Tzeentchian cultist. Whereas Slaanesh cultist, it is a rave. You step in and there's glow sticks everywhere and people are popping pills. And Nurgle cultist is like a corrupted apothecary. Like everyone's gonna have a different take to it. And I wouldn't be surprised here with Tzaangor or with Tzeentch we saw a bit more of a larger mortal presence in their roster to kind of patch up the holes that the 8th edition army list does create. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. I know I've kind of repeated myself multiple times in this video, but there is not a whole ton to go off of today, but just wanted to kind of touch on this video, as I know people might see that little bit of those Tzeentchian dudes and go, what the hell are those? So as always, looking forward to seeing more, looking forward to getting those siege mechanics, that gameplay, so on and so forth. But go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Do you think that we would get Khorngors, Pestigors, Slangors, Tzaangors, or do you think that they'll probably try to relegate certain more prolific units for the Beastmen along with their Chaos God counterpart, right? Like Minotaurs and Khorne makes total sense to me. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, how you think this will be done. But as always, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.